Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here, once again bringing you another episode of Dan's Disco Deep Dives, in which I take a look at the Easter eggs, hidden bits, canon connections, and theories for new episodes of Star Trek Discovery. This week's episode, Season 2, Episode 11, Perpetual Infinity. The episode was written by Alan McElroy and Brendan Schultz. This is McElroy's second script for Discovery after having written the teleplay for An O-Ball for Charon, while Schultz contributes his first full writing credit, having been a writer's assistant on Discovery since the first season. Perpetual Infinity was directed by Maya Vervilo, who previously directed the Short Treks episode Runaway. The episode begins with Burnham's memory of the fateful day on Daktari Alpha when the Klingons attacked, supposedly killing her parents. We get our first look at her father, who interestingly enough is played by Kenrick Green, Sonequa Martin Green's husband and fellow Walking Dead alumni. When we later see the Daktari Alpha raid from Gabrielle Burnham's perspective through the mission logs, we get a glimpse of the Klingons during the attack. Some people online have pointed out that their uniforms are somewhat reminiscent of the original series Klingon uniforms. I can kind of see it, but it goes by pretty fast and isn't really distinct. What do you all think? Dr. Burnham gives Pike a very small hint about his future when she says to him, "I could say more about your future, but you won't like it." Clearly, she is referring to his paralysis and confinement to a wheelchair with mechanical beeps as his only method of communication, as revealed in the two-part TOS episode, The Menagerie. Thankfully, the Telosians enable him to have a somewhat better outcome when he is entrusted to their care at the end of that episode. Dr. Burnham's view of time echoes the feelings of another Star Trek character further on in the time stream. She says, "People think time is fragile, precious, beautiful, sand in an hourglass and all that. But it's not. Time is savage. It always wins." This is very reminiscent of the views held by Anorax, the villain of the Voyager two-part episode Year of Hell, as he carries on his one-man battle against all of time to restore the Krenim Imperium to greatness. Star Trek has had a long history with Shakespeare, from episode titles to Klingons proclaiming that you have never truly experienced Shakespeare until you have read it in the original Klingon. Quoted many times in Trek history, Shakespeare always seems to have just the right thing to say for nearly any given situation, even when a time-traveling Red Angel is trying to keep the galaxy from being sterilized by a rogue AI gone berserk. In this episode, Spock quotes Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 5, when he says, "The time is out of joint, O cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right." When decrying the idea of deleting the sphere's accumulated data, Saru compares that act to burning down the Library of Alexandria or destroying the Bibliotheca Corviniana. The losses of both of these were huge blows to the wealth of human knowledge. The Bibliotheca Corviniana was one of the most renowned libraries of the Renaissance, destroyed in 1526 after Hungary was defeated by the Ottomans. Speaking of the ancient world, Spock quotes a Chinese philosopher, pronounced much better by Ethan Peck, which I will not even attempt here.
4th century Earth philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Water is the softest thing, yet it can penetrate mountains."
While appearing as a Leland hologram, the Control AI utters the phrase, "Struggle is pointless," leading many viewers to speculate that Control might have some connection to the Borg. Sounds an awful lot like resistance is futile. In another small piece of evidence in the "Control is the origin of the Borg" theory, does anyone else think that the nanites injected into Leland look to have that Borgish green glow to them? That color does look familiar. Well, that's all I had for canon connections and Easter eggs. Were there any that you felt I missed? Let me know in the comments. Now for your theories about this week's episode. Delia co-writes, Dr. Burnham has been following the events regarding the AI very closely. Her surprise tells me not only that she, when we saw her, did not put the signals up, but also that this timeline is new to her, since there's an important event, the 7 signals, that she did not know about yet. This new timeline might represent hope, since all the other timelines led to the galaxy being barren. Perhaps in her future, she will put the signals up in the past. Or her daughter is about to do it, and the downstream effect of what is about to be revealed to her when she returns to the future. I found that part very interesting myself, the fact that Dr. Burnham wasn't aware of the 7 signals, which tells me that their creation is definitely going to play a big role in the episodes to come. My personal prediction, which I will go into more detail later, has the 7 signals being placed in the series finale. I don't know if that's the case, but I don't know. Things seem to be pointing in that direction. John Aitken says, I'm reading all this as tying in with the Calypso short trek. In order to keep Control from becoming full AI with the help of the sphere data, and noting that they are unable to delete the data because it is somehow sentient now, wouldn't the next step be in ensuring Control doesn't get it by sending Disco and the data into an ion cloud and telling it to chill for 1,000 years? It would explain the battle with the Vidraish that Kraft is fighting in Calypso, as without the data, Control was unable to maximize its AI and kill absolutely everything, so pockets of resistance remained. And how, with that sentient data inside her, the Zora AI was created as a means of battling Control. And at the end of that time, Burnham's mum from her tether point on Terra Elysium would then go to the Disco, awaken it, and then do something. Maybe bring it back in time to the present and use it to kick Control out before it could get a grip on things. I agree, to me things are leaning more and more towards connecting with the short trek episode Calypso. The fact that Burnham's going 950 years in the future, and according to Zora in Calypso, the Discovery's been holding position for, quote, almost 1,000 years. I mean, that's not a coincidence. They're clearly building towards something here. I like the idea that in this timeline, Control is only getting part of the sphere data, so is unable to exert total dominance over the galaxy, and that might lead to the pockets of resistance. Kraft does say in that episode there are not many humans left, which tells me something horrific has happened and most of the people have been wiped out, but still a few remain. I like the idea that this timeline is just a step towards full restoration and represents hope. That's very clever. I like that. Das Micah says, I think the red signals will be made by the Discovery crew or the future Discovery to guide the Red Angel and their past selves to the right places in space and time. Otherwise, I kind of wondered why they couldn't deal with the data the Klingon way, download it into something like a shuttle's computer storage, and then blow this something up, repeatedly. If that doesn't work, self-destruct or blow up the ship. It's just a lot of files. If you destroy the storage medium, it is gone. Yeah, I agree. The data itself doesn't seem to want to be deleted, but you'd think there would be ways around that. But apparently not. Can we assume they maybe tried it off screen? I guess that's a little bit of a cheat, but yeah, it does seem to me there should be an easier way to destroy this data, but maybe it won't even let itself be transferred into something portable. It's so determined and gaining sentience to protect itself. My theory this week is shared by a number of people in the comments and in other places online, and it has to do with the red signals that kicked the whole season off. I predict that because the AI data has been loaded into the Red Angel suit, the suit itself will become sentient in a way and use the red signals to point Discovery in the right direction to solve the mystery. 3 signals have been followed by Discovery already, putting them in the right place at the right time. Because Dr. Burnham was unaware of the signals, it's clear that they haven't been placed yet from her perspective. I also think that she will be saved somehow, whether it's by the red suit or the crew of the Discovery, perhaps somehow linked to the events of the Short Trek's episode Calypso, in which Discovery has been holding position for nearly 1,000 years, according to Zora, the emergent AI that resides in Discovery's computer. Speaking of Zora, I think she will have a large role to play in the fight against Control, and in fact she may be the artificial intelligence that arises from the suit, or from the AI data that is currently in Discovery's computer. Either way, I think it will take an AI to be able to defeat the Control AI, and I would bet anything that the season finale will show us the AI in question sending the red signals to set everything in motion. But that's just a theory. I want to hear what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thank you all for your comments and your theories, and thank you to the Patreon supporters for your help as well. You can become a patron of Kertrats Productions by going to patreon.com/Kertrats. Even just $1 a month helps a lot. Thank you to the new Patreon supporters this month. I really do appreciate it. Thank you everyone else for liking, watching, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Until then, remember, time is savage. It always wins. So this is meaningless.